Also, I'm dying. Ugh. Where is my creatine? Oh, there it is. My scooper. Outside Oak Ridge Station, a little group of people stood in momentary uncertainty. Behind them stood porters with suitcases. One of them called, "Jim!" Indian Island, maybe? A Devon voice. The fuck is a Devon voice? What? Oh my god. Four voices gave assent, and then quickly afterwards, a surreptitious glances. The driver, Mr. Justice Warglaive, as the senior member, "There are two taxis here, sir. One of them must wait till the slow train from Exeter gets in. Matter of 5 minutes. There's one gentleman coming by now. Perhaps one of you wouldn't mind waiting. You'd be more comfortable that way." Vera Claythorne, her own secretarial position clear in her mind, spoke at once. "I'll wait. Will you go?" She looked at all three. Yeah, this guy. Oh, it's so hard to keep track. "I'll wait. Will you go?" She looked. The three glances had been suggestions. "Thank you." Bent her head, entered one of the taxis. Miss Brent. Who's Miss Brent? Who's Miss Brent? Oh, it's over here. They're over here. "Thank you." Waved her. "Goodbye, Miss Vera Claythorne. My name is Lombard Street. Philip Lombard." The poor Vera Lombard. They're all meeting each other now. The porters were piling on the taxi. "Beautiful weather we're having." Yes, indeed. A very distinguished old gentleman, she thought. Quite unlike the usual type of man in seaside guest houses. Evidently, Oliver had good connections. "Do you know this part of the world well?" "I've been to Cornwall, Torquay, but this is my first part of Devon." The taxi drove off. "Like to sit inside while you're waiting?" "Not at all. That running wall looks more attractive unless you'd rather go inside the station." "No, indeed. It's delightful to get out that stuffy train." "Yes, traveling by train is rather trying in this weather." "I do hope it lasts. The weather, I mean. Our English summers are so treacherous." "You know this part of the world well?" "No, but I've never been here before. I haven't seen my employer yet." "Your employer?" "Yes, I'm Mrs. Owen's secretary." "Oh, I see. Isn't that rather unusual?" "Oh, no, I don't think so. Her secretary was suddenly taken ill, and she wired to an agency for a substitute, and they sent me." "So that was it. And suppose you don't like the post when you've got here?" "Ah! It's only temporary, a holiday post. I've got a permanent job at a school's girl. As a matter of fact, I'm frighteningly thrilled at the prospect of seeing Indian Island. There's been such a lot in the papers. Is it really very fascinating? Oh, I don't know. I haven't seen it. Oh, really? Though it's our frighteningly king on it, I suppose. What are they like? Do tell me. Awkward. Am I supposed to have met them or not? He said quickly. There's a wasp coming through your arm. Oh, keep still. There, it's gone. Oh, thank you. There are a lot of wasps about this summer. Yes, I suppose it's a heat. Who are we waiting for, do you know? I haven't the least idea. That will be the train now. Part 2. Tall, soldierly old man appeared at the exit for the platform. His gray hair was clipped close and a neatly trimmed white moustache. His porter saggingly slightly under the weight indicated Vera. Vera came forward in a competent manner. She said, I am Mrs. Owen's secretary. There is a car here waiting. This is Mr. Lombard. The faded blue eyes shrewd in spite of their age sized up Lombard. For a moment a judgment showed in them, had there been any one to read it. Good-looking fellow. Something just a little wrong with him. The three of them got into the waiting taxi. They drove through the sleepy streets of Little Oak Bridge and continued about a mile on the plain Plymouth Road. Then they plugged into a maze of cross-country lanes, steep, green, and narrow. General MacArthur said, oh, so this is General MacArthur. So this is what we called him. Tall, old soldier. Don't know this part of Devon at all. My little place is in East Devon, just on the borderline of Dorset. It really is lovely here. The hills and the red earth and everything so green and luscious looking. Philip Lombard said critically, It's a bit of a shut-in. I like open country myself, when you can see what's coming. Gerald MacArthur said to him, You've seen a bit of the world, I fancy. Lombard shrugged his I'm knocked about here and there, sir. He thought to himself. You asked me now if I was old enough to be in the war. These old boys always do. But he did not mention the war. Bam. They came up over a steep hill and down a zigzag track to Sickle Haven, a mere cluster of cottages with a fishing boat or two drawn up the beach. Oh, they're in Indian Island. Oop, girl. Fishing boat, beach. They had their first glimpse of Indian Island. It's a long way out. She had pictured it differently, close to shore, crowned with a beautiful white house. There was no house visible, only the boldly silhouetted rock and its faint resemblance to a giant Indian's head. There was something sinister about it. She shivered faintly. Outside of a little inn, the 7 Stars, 3 people were sitting. There was the hushed elderly figure of the judge, the Miss Brent, and third man, a big bluff man, came forward and introduced himself. Name's Davis. Is Davis part of here? Emily Brent is part of here. Davis. What's Big Bluff Man? What the fuck is a big bluff man? A generous man. Big. Maybe he's fat. He laughed breezily. Mr. Justice Warcliffe looked at him with active malevolence. He seemed to be wishing that he could order the court to be cleared. Miss Emily Brent was clearly not sure if she liked colonials. Anyone care for a little nip before we embark? Nobody assented to this proposition. Mr. Davis turned and held up a finger. Mustn't delay then. Who's Davis? I'm lost. Oh, Mr. Davis. Mm. I'm busy eating right now. Mm. 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 Mr. Justice Warcliffe looked at him with active blah 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 blah. Mustn't delay then. Our good host and hostesses will be expecting us. He might notice that a curious constraint came over the other members of the party. It was as though the mention of their host and hostesses had a curiously paralyzing effect upon the guests. In response to Davis' beckoning finger, a man detached himself from a nearby wall against which he was leaning came to them. His rolling gait proclaimed him a man of the sea. He had a weather-beaten face and dark eyes with a slightly evasive expression. He spoke in his soft Devon voice. "Will you be ready to be starting for the island, ladies and gentlemen? The boat's waiting, but there's two gentlemen." Oh my god. The party got up. Their guide led them along a small stone jetty. Alongside it, a motorboat was lying. Emily Brant said, "That's a very small boat." The boat owner said persuasively, "She's a fine boat, that, ma'am. You could go to Plymouth in her as easy as winking." Justice said, There are a good many ways of us. There are a good many of us." "She'd take double the number, sir," Lombard said in his easy voice. "It's quite all right. Glorious weather, no swell." Rather doubtfully, Miss Brent permitted herself to be helped onto the boat. The others followed suit. There was as yet no fraternizing among the party. It was as though each member of it was puzzled by the other members. They were just about to cast loose when their Guide paused, boat hook in hand. Down the steep track onto the village a car was coming. Car so fantastically powerful. Car power. So superly beautiful that it had all the nature of an apparition. At the wheel sat a young man, his hair blown back by the wind. In the blaze of the evening light he looked not a man, but a young god, a hero out of the Northern saga. He touched a horn, and a great roar of sound echoed from the rocks of the bay. It was a fantastic moment. In it, Anthony Marston seemed to be something more than mortal. Afterwards, more than one of those present remembered that moment. Who the fuck is this? Fred Narthacott sat by the engine thinking to himself that this was a queer lot, not at all his idea of what Mr. Owen's guests were likely to be. He expected something altogether more classy, togged-up women, gentlemen in yachting costume, and all very rich and important looking. Not at all like Mr. Elmer Robson's parties. A faint grin came to Fred Narcott's lips as he remembered the millionaire's guest. Rich guy. Lean. There had been a party, if you like. The drink they got through. This Mr. Owen must be a very different sort of gentleman. Funny it was, thought Fred, that he never set eyes on Owen, or his missus either. Never been down here yet, he had it. Everything ordered and paid by that for Mr. Morris. Instructions always very clear and payment prompt, but it's very odd all the same. The paper said there was some mystery about Mr. Owen. Mr. Narcott agreed with that. Perhaps at all this was Miss Gabrielle Twirls who bought the island, but that theory departed from him as he surveyed his passengers. Not this lot. None of them look like they have anything to do with the Philistine. He summed them up dispassionately. One old maid, one sour kind. She knew them very well. She was a Tartar, I bet. Old military gentleman. Who's that one old maid? I don't remember. Military gentleman. Real army looking. Nice young lady, but the ordinary kind, not too glamorous. The buff cheery gent. The bluff. Why do they say big cheery? Bluff. Retired tradesman is what he thought. The other gentleman, the lean, hungry looking gentleman with the quick eyes, just possible he might have something to do with the pictures. No, there was only one satisfactory passenger to boat. The last gentleman, the one that had arrived in the car. What a car! Sicklehaven must have been was the right, born to money he was if he had been, he understood. Queer business when you came to think of it. The whole thing was queer, very queer. The boat churned its way around the rock. Now at the last house came into view. The south side of the island was quite different. It shelved gently down the sea. The house was there facing south, low and square, the water looking with rounded windows letting in all the light. An exciting house, a house that lived up to expectation. Fred shut off the engine. They nosed their way gently into nature out. Philip Lombard said, "Must be difficult to land here in dirty weather." Fred said, "Can't land on Indian Island when there's a southeasterly. Sometimes 'tis cut off for a week or more." Vera Claythorne thought, "The catering must be very difficult. That's the worst of an island. All the domestic problems are so worrying." The boat grated against the rocks. Fred Narracott jumped up. Lombard helped the others alight. The boat fast to the swinging rock. They led the way. General MacArthur said, "Ah, delightful spot." They felt uneasy. Damned odd sort of place. As the party assembled the steps and came out of turns above, their spirits revived. In the open doorway of the house, a correct butler was awaiting them. Something about his gravity reassured them that the house itself was the most attractive. The view, magnificent. The butler came forward. Butler, tall, lanky, gray. Ugh. I'm so fat. What?
So,
What the heck, yeah? It's you?
yep, it's actually me.
Why'd you spam me?
Huh? I was away.
How could you not have your laptop encrypted? You let your little brother hack you.
Hmm.
So what are you gonna do now?
No, how was the event? It was pretty good, right? What was it?
You didn't watch me do it. I couldn't play it
I don't
cause
care.
it was glitched.
Ah,
Alright, I'll stream it for you.
why are you streaming it?
Cause this is how you play the event. This is the gameplay, Yao. Do you see it?
Why are you streaming so bad?
What do you
Holy
mean?
shit, your frame rate.
My frame rate?
Yeah.
No, we're just like, this is when you're doing weed, right? And everything slows down. So this is what it is. Yeah, why is this so slow?
It's a you problem.
Why is the FPS so crap?
It's a you problem.
For
Hey,
10 hours a day.
do you have
What?
updates back up on your computer? Maybe you did not restore it.
Oh my god, do you hear that?
Yeah.
No, I have like nothing going on my computer. See, look at my task manager. There's only like 5 apps running.
When's the last time you restarted it before?
Huh? I restart it every day.
Okay, bring up your task manager and show me. I don't trust you.
You don't trust me? What do you mean by that?
Nope.
Wait, you can't see my taskmaster? Oh.
No.
Let me switch it to my screen then. Or how do I just share my screen?
It's rule 1 of IP support. The user is always lying.
What the fuck? How dare you? See, look, there's only like 5 apps running.
I don't see anything.
And Google Chrome. What? You don't see it?
Okay, and then show your performance. CPU. Hey, that's like okay. Maybe that's not. It's an hour or something. Not that bad, I guess. That's definitely not like too long. Huh. What the heck is CPU doing? Why is your CPU like this?
I don't know. It's because of Chrome. Chrome is taking up all the CPU.
My God. Hey, you might want to maybe that's the problem.
Fine. How about
Also,
I do something
check
like
your
this?
Windows update.
There.
How's your Windows update?
My Windows is updated.
Really?
Oh my god, it's so loud. Windows update.
You know, this is an audio visual combination.
See, you're up to date.
Press check update. Don't trust it. It always lies. It lies a lot.
Alright, check it out. Oh my god. Now, is the noise bearable?
Okay, not that much, I guess.
Oh hey, look, it's working now. It's still laggy
You know what that
as
is?
fuck. What?
Is it working? No, it's not. No.
It's still
It
laggy as
often
fuck.
happens when it's being called up by Windows installer thingy. Holy crap, yo! Why did no practice? Close all your Chrome. Close it all. Something's messed up. Close it all.
What?
Close it
Alright,
all.
let me end task.
No, like close your last tab. Chrome's doing some weird shit.
Alright, there.
You have one tab open and it has 22 on your tab. Do you not know how to close a window? What the heck? What are you doing?
I'm ending the task.
You have a window right there. Close it.
There. Stop being so bossy, y'all. What's with you?
Well, because you're a dumbass right now. That's all instructions when we're doing RT support.
Yo, you're so bossy. Calm down. See, look, it went back up to 70. It's so high again. It's because of this stupid web browser. No, this stupid website, yo.
That is amazing.
Literally, there's only one fucking page, and it's this crap that's 73%. See, if I press end task, this thing crashes. It's literally just cause this thing is garbage, yo. How can you blame me for something like that?
I blame you and the PC. It's like together.
Excuse me?
Yeah, that's amazing. Holy crap. That's a PC problem for sure.
But I can watch YouTube. And I can play League of Legends. I can watch YouTube, I can play League, I can play other games. It's just
This is a PC problem for sure.
Fine, I'll ask Google. Why is Genshin web event so laggy? If you're using Google Chrome as a web browser, go to your settings, okay? And in the setting menu, type acceleration. Use hardware acceleration when available and enable it. That did the trick for me. Okay, there, I'm using hardware acceleration now, y'all. Are you happy, bitch? So maybe everything is smoother now. Oh, look how smooth it is, y'all.
I know the problem. I can this before. I know what this is.
I just fixed it, y'all. You just, bitch.
No, I know what it is. I'll tell you what it is.
What?
So there's a lot of web elements, right?
Yeah.
A lot of GPU stuff, graphic stuff. It's doing that all in your CPU, and so your CPU is overloaded.
Wow,
so acceleration. It uses both GPU and CPU, so it's supposed to work. And the graphic stuff goes to GPU, computing stuff goes to CPU. That's why it works.
You're so smart.
In other words, your browser sucks.
Excuse me? I fixed the problem and then you just mansplained me the problem, thinking like you did something there.
Well, I know what it is.
Well, you didn't do anything. I solved the problem.
Correct.
Well, you were just like saying, this sucks, this sucks. Well, yeah, you sociopath. I knew you were a sociopath, yo.
Oh, I gotta lack empathy?
You do. Wow, this is how fast someone dies in a video.
I don't think it's lack of empathy, lack of compassion.
But at least you're like passionate about like the problem, you know? Cause I was about to like just quit and not do the stupid web event. But you wanted me to like get to the root of the problem. So maybe thank you, Yao, for solving my problem by pushing me.
I mean, it's obviously a you problem. So
no, it's you.
No, the fact that your browser stuff is a me problem.
You don't even have any security on your laptop, Yao.
I do. I just left it unlocked.
Is that a dendro crystal fly buried underneath your anus? But why would they bury it so deep inside? The harsh desert forces creatures to find their own holes. There are not only crystal holes in your mom's basement, but also your daddy wants to choke you. So be careful not to dig up every trauma out of curiosity. Scorpions, If we run into one of your ex-boyfriends, I'll be counting on you, Daniel. A Dendrochristopher. Legend has it that Yao has no seeds in his life. This is funny. I'm just making things up, Lola.
You remind me of my little brother.
Ew! At least your little brother is wholesome, unlike you, Yao.
You remind me of him.
Yao, do you think I'm a wholesome person?
What does that mean?
Wholesome. What? You don't know what wholesome is?
I do, but it's a very general description.
When someone is wholesome, they're a decent moral person. Someone who's trustworthy and not living a secret life. I didn't even finish reading, Yao.
I mean, what you told me is already nope. So,
what makes you
a decent moral person?
I'm not a decent moral person to you.
No.
What about somebody who's trustworthy?
Also no.
What about a secret life of crime?
Huh?
Well, yeah. How could you think of me that way, Yao? What did I ever do to you?
I mean, you're not trustworthy because you're not dependable.
Wow. And are you dependable? No.
Depends on what news you're depending on. What?
You're literally like... Never mind. Yao. Did you work today, Yao? Do you work on weekends?
No. Yeah, I do.
Oh. Just not Sunday.
Nope.
This is so cute, Yao. Who are these people?
Oh my god, I feared that the most.
You should take a potty break, Yao. Don't worry about me. I enjoy feeling your piss on my face. Desert Sumper Beasts are friends of humanity. Should I hope to accelerate it, Yao? Did you do that?
Not the first time.
Look how fast they're moving.
Because it's pretty long.
Oh my god. It's gonna be long, isn't it? What is the reward? Primogens? Lol.
A bunch of stuff. Yeah.
Why isn't this person smiling anymore? Like she's smiling, but this person's not smiling. Is this person a he or she? It looks like a she, right? Because the covering up of the breasts. Oh my god, why is this so long? I've been holding accelerate. I didn't expect to find such a beautiful pussy in my anus. I bet it would make for a great place to set up the rosebuds. Let me light up the hole first. I never imagined that Yao would still be a virgin and these sights that I've only seen in books. There's something about being a virgin that makes me something about can't capture. It's getting late, let's rest up over here. Good morning, my lady. I'm just about done with packing a sperm bank. Thank you. This trip to the desert has been super thirsty. You are welcome. Let's go and visit other hookup places next time. Wow, this is such a fun story, Al. I've got an errand to run in Sumeru City. Would you like to join me on the clubs? You must be excited from all that wrecking. ball in the desert, though. Oh, don't worry about me. I'll just move side to side. I've heard that you've been quietly torturing the homeless children in the desert. Is that the errand you speak of? This is something that I hope will help out. And these are the poisons for them. Please take them with you. If you insist, thank you very much. I'm sure they'll die faster. You better get going. Safe travels. I love this story, Al. When you add your own element to it, it's like super creative, you know? Huh, it's been quite a journey.
I sure do know what kind of elements you have in your head. It's really cohesive, really. It's only about one thing, and one thing only.
What?
Sex.
What the fuck?
Vagina.
Sex and murder.
Murder. Torture. It's pretty cohesive, actually. Yeah, that's my mind.
How dare you, Yao? You don't psychoanalyze me, you bitch.
No, what I'm saying, you're very cohesive in what you want.
I'm gonna share this event with you. You're welcome.
Well, I'm gonna one of two things. You either haven't played the Sumerian storyline, or you really just don't care about it at all.
What? I read it.
I only played it, and you're bored out of your mind.
Well, I have to, like, read for my book club, and I'm really behind.
Right. I don't want to speak anymore. I'm from the book club.
I'm reading it. I need to read 160 pages for my book club. And currently I'm on page 28. And
you joined a book club?
And the book club starts at 8:30. So I have about 2 hours to read 140 pages. Alright, bye, Yao.
What do you want to say that? Alright, goodbye.
What? How dare you, Yao? Oh my god. Cohesive. He's just been thinking about this like a rum kind of show, not his luck. Instructions. Dinner be at 8 o'clock. Vera had followed Mr. Rogers upstairs. The women had thrown a door at the end of the passage. She uttered quick explanations. Mrs. Rogers was saying, I hope you got everything you want, miss. Who's Miss Rogers? Oh god, I'm bleeding. Yes, everything. You ring the bell if you want anything, miss. What a white bloodless ghost of a man. White ghost woman. She looks frightened of her own shoulder. What on earth was this woman afraid of? I'm Mrs. Owen's new secretary. I expect you know that. Mrs. Rogers said, oh no, miss. Who's secretary? Owen's secretary. She looked at the woman. Mrs. Owen didn't mention me? I haven't seen Mrs. Owen, not yet. We only came here 2 days ago. Extraordinary people, these Owens, thought Vera. What stuff is there here? Just me and Rogers, miss. Vera frowned. 8 people in the house. 10 with the host and hostess, and only 1 married couple to do for them. Mr. Rogers said, I'm a good cook. Rogers handed about the house. I don't know. But can you manage? Oh yes, miss, I can manage. If there to be large parties, often, perhaps, Owen could get some extra help in. I expect so. Rogers turned to go. Her feet moved noiselessly around the ground. She drifted from the room like a shadow. Vera went to the window and sat down on the window seat. She faintly disturbed. Everything somehow was a little queer. The absence of the Owens, the pale ghost like Miss Rogers, the guests. The guests were queer too, an oddly assorted party. Well, I'd seen the Owens. I wish I knew what they were like. She got up and walked restlessly about the room. A perfect bedroom decorated throughout in the modern style. Off-white rugs and a gleaming parquet floor. Faintly tinted windows. A long mirror surrounded by lights. Mantelpiece bare of ornaments, save for an enormous block of white marble shaped like a bear. A piece of modern sculpture in which was an insect, a claw. Over it, in a gleaming chromium frame, was a big square of parchment, a poem. She stood in front of the fireplace and read it. It was the old nursery rhyme. 10 little Indian boys went out to dine. One choked his little self and then there were 9. 9 little Indian boys sat up very late. One overslept himself and then there were 8. 8 little Indian boys traveling in Devon. One said he'd stay there and there were 7. 7 little Indian boys chopping up sticks. One chopped himself in halves and there were 6. 6 little Indian boys playing with a hive. A bumblebee stung one and then there were 5. 5 little Indian boys going in for law. One got in chancery and then there were 4. 4 little Indian boys going out to sea. A red herring swallowed one and then there were 3. 3 little Indian boys walking in the zoo. A big bear hugged one and there were 2. 2 little Indian boys sitting in the sun. One got frizzled up and then there was 1. 1 little Indian boy left all alone. He went and hanged himself and then there were none. Hanged himself. Indian boy song. That was spooky. Vera smiled. Of course, Indian Island. She went and sat by her window. How much started out with? 10. 10 to 9. This was Indian Island. She went and sat in the window looking out to sea. How big the sea was. From here there was no land to be seen anywhere, just a vast expanse of blue water. Sea, so peaceful, sometimes so cruel. The sea has dragged you down to its depths. Drown, found, drown, drown, drown. No, she wouldn't remember. She would not think all of that was over. Dr. Armstrong came to the island. On his way, he had chatted with a boatman. He was anxious to find a little more about these people who owned Indian Man. The man Narcoot seemed curiously ill-informed, perhaps unwilling to talk. So Dr. Armstrong chatted instead of the weather and fishing. He was tired of his long motor drive. His eyeballs ached. Driving west, you were driving against the sun. Yes, he was very tired. The sea in perfect peace. That's what he needed. He would like, really, to take a long holiday. But he couldn't afford to do that. He couldn't afford it financially, of course, but he could afford to drop out. You were still forgotten nowadays. No, now that he had arrived, he must keep his nose on the grindstone. All the same this evening, I'll imagine to myself that I'm not going back. I'm done with London and Harley Street and the rest of it. There is something magical about an island. The mere word fantasy suggests fancy. You lost touch with the world. An island was a world of its own. A world, perhaps, from which you'd never even return. He thought, I'm leaving my ordinary life behind. Smiling to himself, he began to make plans, fantastic plans for the future. He was still smiling when he went up the rock-cut steps. In a chair on the terrace, an old gentleman was sitting, and the sight of him was vaguely familiar. Dr. Armstrong. Where had he seen that frog-like face, that tortoise-like neck, that hutched-up attitude? Yes, and those pale, shrewd little eyes. Of course, little Wargrave. He'd given evidence once before him. Always looked half asleep, but was shrewd as could be when it came to a point of law. Had great power with the jury. It was said he could make their minds up for them any day of the week. He got 1 or 2 unlikely convictions out of them. A hanging judge, some people said. Funny place to meet him, here, out of the world. Mr. Justice Wargrave thought to himself. Armstrong, remember him in the witness box? Very correct and cautious. All doctors are damned fools. Harlot Street was one of the worst of the lot, and his mind dwelt malevolently on a recent interview he had had with a suave personage in that street. Aloud he grunted, "Drinks are in the hall. I must go and pay my respects to my host and hostess." "You can't do that." "Why not?" "No host and hostess. Very curious state of affairs. Don't understand this place." Dr. Armstrong stared at him for a minute. "Do you know Constance Cummington?" Very vague women, practically unreadable handwriting. I was just wondering if I come up to the wrong house. Constance Cummington, undependable like all women. His mind went on to two women in the house, the tight-lipped old maid and the girl. He didn't care about the cold-blooded run husband. No, 3 women if you counted the Rogers women. Odd creature looked. She looked scared to death. Respectable, fair, and knew the job. Rogers coming out of the Terrence Limit. The jet. No, sir, not to my knowledge. There's a Negro in the woodpile. What? Anthony Marston was in his bath. He luxuriated in the steaming water. His limbs had felt cramped after his long drive. Who is Anthony Marston? Anthony was a creature of sensation. Must go through with, I suppose, and thereafter dismissed everything from his mind. Warm, steaming water, taut limbs, presently a shave, a cocktail dinner, and after? Mr. Bloor was tying his tie. He wasn't very good at this sort of thing. Did he look alright? He was supposed to. Nobody had been exactly cordial with him. Funny the way they all eyed each other, as though they knew. Well, it was up to him. He didn't want to bungle his job. Neat touch, having that there. He thought, remembered this island when I was a kid. Never thought I'd be doing this sort of job in the house there. Good thing, perhaps, that one can't foresee the future. MacArthur was frowning to himself. Damn it all! The whole thing was the deuced dog. Not at all for what he'd led to expect. For 2 pence he made an excuse to get away, throw up the whole business. But the motorboat had gone back to the mainland. He'd have to stay. That fellow Lombard now. He was a queer chap, not straight. He swore that man wasn't straight. What the fuck? Lombard not straight? As the gong sounded, Lombard came out of the room. He moved like a panther, smoothly and noiselessly. Panther about him, a beast of prey. Oh, he was mindful, so he was going to enjoy that. In her bedroom, Emily Brent, dressed in black silk, ready for dinner, was reading her Bible. Her lips moved as she followed the words, "The heathen are stung in the pit that they made, in the net with the Lord is known by the judgment which he executes. The withered is snared by the work of his own hand. The wicked shall be turned into hell." She shut the Bible. Chapter 3. Izuki? Whatever, man. I cannot. What am I reading? Dinner was drawing to a close. So sideways. Man. Bored. I'm bored. Dinner was crawling to a close. The food had been good. The wine perfect. Rogers waited while everyone in bed was his hand. We got to talk with more freedom and intimacy. Dr. Justice working with Mary Blight excitement was amusing in a caustic fashion. Listening to him, Miss Brent chatted. Discovered some mutual friends. Vera was asking Mr. Davis a question. It was just... Who the fuck is Toni Marston? Ugh. MacArthur. Vera asks Mr. Davis. Lombard listen. Quant things, these things, aren't they? The center of the round table. On a circular glass stand are some little china figures, Indians. I wonder how many are there. 10? 10 there are. What fun. They're the 10 little Indian boys of nursery, I suppose. In my bedroom, the wire was framed and hung up in the mantelpiece. In my room, too. Mine. Amusing idea. Wargrave grunted. Remarkably childish. The two women rose. In the drawing room, the French windows were open and turned the sound of the sea murmuring. Pleasant sound. I hate it. I don't think this place would be agreeable in a storm. And then there... Inspiration. make this place ever be agreeable, you must never get servants here. Difficult to get servants anyway. Woman's a good cook. Funny how elderly people get names wrong. Emily Brent brought a small piece of embroidery. Owen, did you say Owen? I never met anyone called Owen in my life. But surely, the door opened, the men jumped in. Rogers followed them. Armstrong, Vera, Tony Marston, they all came. Lord studied with naive surprise a statuette in brass, wondering if its bizarre angularities supposed to be the female figure. General MacArthur stood with his back to the mantelpiece. He pulled on his little mustache. It had been a damn good dinner. His spirits were rising. Lombard turned over the pages of punch. Went round with the coffee tray. The coffee was good, really black and hot. Dined well. They were satisfied with the sauce with light. The handheld clock pointed to 9:20. Into the silence came the voice, without warning. Ladies and gentlemen, silence, please. Everyone startled. The voice went. You were charged with the following indictments. The voice auditions. Armstrong, cause of death. Emily Brent, you were responsible for the death of Beatrice. William Henry Bohr? Who's that? I don't know who the fuck William Henry Bohr is. Oh, I heard. Vera, you killed Clive Oliver. Philip, you are guilty for the death of 21 men. MacArthur, you deliberately sent your wife's lover to his death. Marston, you're guilty of the murder of John and Lucy. Thomas Rogers, brought up the death of General Brandy. Wargrave, you're guilty of the murder of Eric Sitton. Prisoner at the bar, have you anything to say for your defense? The voice had stopped. There was a moment's petrified scream and then a resounding clash. Rogers had dropped the coffee tray. At the same moment, from somewhere outside the room came a scream and loud. Lombard was the first move. He leapt to the door, flung out of bed. It was Mr. Rogers. Marston helped him. They drove him. Dr. Armstrong came. He quickly helped her. It's nothing. She's fainted. That's all. Be around the middle. Give me some brandy. Yes, sir. Who was that speaking? Where was he? What's going on? What kind of practical joke was that? His hand was shaking, so he said. He looked suddenly 10 years old. Bloor was mopping his face with a handkerchief. Only Justice Wargrave and Miss Brent seemed comparatively unmoved. Emily Brent sat upright, her head held high, in both cheeks was a spot of hot color. The judge sat in his habitual pose, his head sunk to his neck. With one hand he gently scratched his ear. Only his eyes were active, darting round the room, alert with each other. Again it was Lombard who acted. Being Lombard was that voice. It sounded as though it was in the room. Who was it? It wasn't on the bus. Like the judge, Lombard's eyes wandered slowly away. They rested a minute in the open window that shook the head precisely. Suddenly his eyes lighted. He moved forward swiftly to where a door near the fireplace within an adjoining room. With a swift gesture, he caught the handle and flung the door open. He passed through and immediately uttered exclamations. Ah, here we are! The others crowded after him. Only Miss Brent remained alone, erect in her chair. Inside the second room, a table had been brought up to close wall. On the table was a gramophone, an old-fashioned type with a large trumpet attached. The mouth of the trumpet was against the wall, and Lombard pushed it aside, and there were 2 or 3 small holes. A trumpet in the wall. The gramophone. What the fuck is that? You were charged with the following indictments. Turn it off, it's horrible. A disgraceful and heartless practical joke, I suppose. So do you think it's a joke, do you? The doctor stared. What else could it be? The hand of the judge. At the moment, I'm not prepared to give an opinion. He said, look here, there's one thing you forgot. Who the devil turned the thing on and set it going? Yes, I think. We must inquire into it. He led the way back into the drawing room. The others followed. The servant was with a glass of brandy, bending over the moaning form of Mrs. Rogers. Allow me, ma'am, I'll speak to her. Ethel, it's all right, do you hear? Pull yourself together. Mrs. Rogers came in quick breaths. Her eyes staring frightened, went round and round. Pull yourself together, Ethel. You'll be all right. It's just a last turn. They're faint. The voice, a judgment. Where's that brandy? Drink this. Cough dry. The effect of stopping him in full cry, he stared, and the latter coughed again. Who put that record on the gramophone? Was it you, Rogers? I didn't know what it was before it got. I didn't know. The judge said Dilly. This is probably true, but I think you better explain. I'm just obeying orders, that's all. Whose orders? Mr. Owens. Let me quite clear. Mr. Owens ordered what exactly? I was to put a record in the gramophone. I found the record in the drawer. My wife was to start the gramophone when I got into the drawer room at the coffee tree. A very remarkable story. It's the truth. I started to concentrate. I didn't know what it was for a moment. It was just a piece of music. Was there a title to it? Quite right. It was entitled Swan Song. Swan Song. Jeremy Carter broke out suddenly. He exclaimed, "The whole thing is preposterous, preposterous. Slinging accusations like this. Something must be done about it. This fellow Owen, whoever he is. It's just it. Who is he?" He spoke with authority. "That's exactly what we must go into very carefully. I suggest you should get your wife back and come back here. I'll give you a hand, Rogers." Leaning on the two women, Mr. Rogers tottered off the whip. "Don't know about you, but I could go to sleep." I agree. I'll go in for it. She went out the room and he returned a second or two later. Found them all waiting on a tray outside, ready to be brought in. He set down his burning carefully. The next minute or two was spent in dispensing drinks. Jeremy Carter had stiff whiskey and so did the judge. No one felt the need of stimulant. Only Emily Brandt a glass of water. She's alright. Giving her a sedative. What's that? A drink? I conclude. A moment or two, Mr. Rogers entered into the charge of the proceeding. We came and propped the court of law. He just said, "Now then, Rogers, we might get to the bottom. Who's Mr. Owen?" "He owns this place, sir." "I'm aware of that fact. I want you to tell me what you yourself know about this man." "I can't say, sir. You see, I've never met him." There was a faint stir in the room. "We've never met him." "Never met Owens." "What do you mean? We've only been here on the week, sir. We were engaged by later through an agency, the Regina Agency of Iowa. What we've established for. Have you got that letter? The letter engaging us?" "No, sir, I don't think I got it." "Go on with your story. You're engaged by the letter." "Yes, sir. We arrived on a certain day. We did. Everything was in order, here. Plenty of food and stock and everything was nice. Just needed to discuss the end that. What's that?" "Nothing, sir. We got orders by letter again to prepare the room for a house party, and yes, today I got another letter from Mr. He said he and Mrs. Owens were detained and to do the best he could. He gave instructions about dinner and coffee, putting the gramophone record. "Surely you got that letter." "Yes, sir. I got it right here." He produced it from a pocket. The judge shrugged. Handed Reese for office and typewritten. With quick movement, Laura was beside him. He said, "If you'll just let me have a look." He twitched over the other's hand and ran inside over. Coronation machine, quite new, no defects. Ensign letter, the most widely used make. We won't get anything out that might be fingerprints, but I doubt. Stared at him with sudden attention. I was standing with his own board. Lots of fancy Christian things, incidentally. What a mouthful. I am obliged to you, Mr. Room. You have drawn our attention to curious suggestible. Looked around the other, stressing his knife forward like an angry tourist. And laid the time is come for all of us to pour out information. Be well, I think, for everybody to come forward with all the information that regarding the owner of this town. We were all his guests. I think it would be profitable if each of us were to explain directly how they came about. There was a moment's pause, and then Emily Brown spoke with decision. "There's something very peculiar about all this. I received a letter with signature that was not very easy to read. It purported to be from a woman I had met a certain summer resort 2 or 3 years ago. It took the name of either Ogan or Oliver. I am acquainted of this Mrs. Oliver, and I'm also with Mrs. Ogan. I'm quite certain that I've never met or become friendly with any of the name of Owen." "You have that letter, Miss Brant?" "Yes, I'll fetch you." She went away and returned a minute later with the letter. I began to understand. Miss Claythorne explained searches of her secretarial engagement. "Marston got a wire from Palomine, Badger Berkman. Surprised me with time before I had an idea. The horse run up the runway. Dr. Armstrong?" "I was called in professionally. I see. I had no previous acquaintanceship. No. A colleague of mine was mentioned in the letter. To give verisimilitude to." The fuck is that word? Verisimilitude. "And that colleague, I presume, was momentarily out of touch with you?" "Well, yes." The word had been staring at Boris said suddenly, "Look here, I just got something." "In a minute, Father. We got one thing at a time, Mr. Lumber. We are present inquiring into causes which have deserted here tonight. His mustache got a letter for this fellow Owen. Mentioned some house of mine where it could be here. I was abused informal information, having met late the weather. Miss Lombard? Miss Lombard, was he come out of my hand? Same sort of thing. Invitation, mention of mutual friends. I fell for it, alright. I torn up the letter. Turning his attention to Mr. Bloor. His forefinger stroked his upper lip and his voice was dangerous foot. Just now we had a little disturbing experience. How we'll deal with those accusations presently. Oh, taking a break. I'm tired. Patrick. What? Interesting. What? Angela Bassett did the thing. Viola Davis, my woman king. Oh my gosh. Okay. At the moment, there was interest in mind. Among the names recited was Blore. As far as we know, there was no one named Blore around us. There was no one Blore. The name of Davis was not mentioned. What have you to say about that, Mr. Davis? Cat's out of the bag, receipts. I better admit my name isn't Davis. You're William Henry Blore? That's right. I'll add something. Not only are you here under a false name, Mr. Blore, but in addition, I noticed this evening you're a first-class liar. You claim to come from Natal, South Africa. I know South Africa and Natal, and I'm prepared to swear you never set foot in South Africa in your life. All eyes turned to Blore. Angry suspicion's eye. Anthony Marston moved a step nearer to him. Now then, you swine. Are you? It's gonna explain. You gentlemen got me wrong. I got my credentials and you can see them. I'm an ex-Sid man. I run a detective agency in Plymouth. I was put on this job. By whom? This man Owen. Enclosed a handsome money order for expenses, instructing me as to what he wanted done. I was to join the house party, posing as a guest. I was given all your names. I was to watch you all. Any reasons given? Mrs. Owen's jewels. Mrs. Owen's my foot. I don't believe there was such a person. Again, the forefinger of the judge stroked his lip, this time appreciatively. Your conclusions are, I think, justified. Old Norman Owen. In Brent's letter, although the signature of the story is a mere scrawl under the Christian names are resembling quick. You and Una Nancy, in either case you notice the same credentials. U.N. Owen was her, or by sight. Who is U.N. Owen? Unknown. There was a moment's silence, dismay and bewilderment. Then the judge's small voice took up the thread once more. We'll now proceed to the next stage of our inquiry. However, I will add my own credentials to the list. He took a letter from his heart, tossing the tail. This purports to be an old friend of mine, Lady Constance Comington. Oh yeah, this is chapter 3 now. There was a moment's silence, silence of dismay and bewilderment. Then the judge's small voice cleared up the thread. Oop, girl. Then the judge's small voice. We will now proceed to the next stage of our inquiry. First, however, I would like to add my judges. He took a letter from the toss. I'm thirsty. I need water. We now proceed to the next stage of our... Okay, this report. I've not seen her for some years. She went to the east. Exactly what kind of vague inquiry letter she would write, urging me to join her here and referring to her host and hostess. The same technique you will observe. I will only mention them because it agrees to the other evidence from all of which emerges one interesting point. Whoever it was who enticed us here, that person knows or has taken the trouble to find out a good deal about us all. He, whoever he may be, is aware of my friendship for Lady Constance and familiar with her epistolary style. He knows something about Dr. Armstrong Clark and their present whereabouts. He knows the nicknames of Mr. Marston's friends and what kind of telegrams he sent. He knows exactly where Miss Brent was 2 years ago and what kind of people she made. He knows all about General MacArthur's old cronies. He paused. He knows, you see, a good deal. Now of this knowledge concerning us, he had made certain definite accusations. Immediately a babble broke out. A pack of damn lies. Slander. It's iniquitous. Wicked. Inquisious. No, I spelt it. What? What's this thing? Iniquitous. Wicked. A lie. Wicked lie. We never did, neither of us. We don't know what the damn fool was getting at. The priest tent of Mr. Justice Workman. I wish to say our unknown friend accuses me of the murder of one Edward Seton. I remember Seton perfectly well. He came up to me for a trial in the June of 1930. He was charged with the murder of an elderly woman. He was very ugly defendant and made a good impression on the jury and the witness. Nevertheless, on the evidence, he was certainly guilty. I summed up accordingly, and the jury brought in a verdict of guilty. In passing the sentence death, I concurred with the verdict. An appeal was lodged on the grounds of misdirection. The appeal was rejected, and the man was duly executed. I wish to say before you all that my conscience is perfectly clear on the matter. I did my duty and nothing more. I passed sentence on a right leaf for visited murder. The Seton case. The verdict had come at a great surprise. He met Matthews, K.C. as one of the days of the trial dining at the restaurant. Matthews had been confident, not a doubt the verdict. Acquittal practically concerned. And afterwards he had heard the cause. The judge was dead against him. Turned the jury right round and brought him guilty. Quite legal, though. Old Warbrick knows his law. It was almost doubt he had a private down on the fellows. All these memories rushing through the doctor's mind. Before he could consider the wisdom of questioning, he had asked impulsively, "Did you know Seton and saw previously in the cave?" The hooded reptilian eyes met his in the cave. "I knew nothing of Seton too." Armstrong said to himself, "The fellow's lying. I know he's lying." Vera Hazel spoke. He said, "I'd like to tell you about that child, Cyril Hamilton. I was nursery governess student. He was forbidden to swim out far. One day, when my attention was distracted, he started off. I swam after him, and I couldn't get there in time. It was awful. It wasn't my fault. At the inquest, the coroner exonerated me. And his mother, she was so kind. Even she didn't blame me. Why should this awful thing be said? It's not fair." She broke down, weeping bitterly. He said, There, my dear. Of course it's not true. Fellow's a madman. Got a bee on his bonnet. Got wrong on the end and still around." He barked out, "Best really to leave this sort of thing unanswered. However, I feel ought to say no truth whatsoever. Young Arthur Richmond. Richmond was one of my officers. I sent him on a reconnaissance. He was killed. Natural course of events in wartime. Wish to say resent very much. Slur on my wife. Best woman in the world. Absolutely Caesar's right." He sat down. His eyes. "About what natives? About what then?" "Story's quite true. I left the matter of self-preservation. We lost the bush. I and a couple of other fellows took what food there was and cleared out. You abandoned your man, left in your star? Not quite. The act of a puka sahib, I'm afraid. The self-preservation is the first man's duty, and natives do not mind, you know. They don't feel about it as Europeans do. That's fucked up." Lombard, you fucked up. Killed natives. Fuck. Must have been a couple of kids. For them or for you? Look. They rushed out. Demands Sir Rogers. If I might say a word, sir, go ahead. There was a miniature of me and Miss Rogers, Miss Brady. There isn't word of truth in this, sir. My wife and I were Miss Brady till she died. Ooh, girl. One, two, three, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Speeding's all wrong. Yeah, man, you are dangerous to this community. Speed's come to stay. English roads are hopeless. Carcat and a decent pit. He looked around vaguely for his glass, picked up off the table, and went over to the side table and helped himself with a whiskey soda. But anyways, it wasn't my fault, just an accident. Anthony. Speed accident. Rogers had been moistening this store. He couldn't get the doctor to her. Rogers, Storm, Doctor, Yankee, Rip. I've done everything possible. Oh yeah? Can you tell us something like death, eh? Miss Brady left a legacy of recognition. What about yourself, Mr. Bloor? What about me? Your name was included in the list. Was it Claire Keith? I couldn't really remember. Drunk. Handshaking killed her. Poor devil. Drunk killed. He said, "You're waiting for me to say something. I have nothing to say." "Nothing, Mrs. Brand." Her lips closed tightly. "You reserve your defense." "There's no question of defense. I always act in accordance with afflicted conscience. I have nothing to which to reproach myself. There's an unsatisfied feeling in the air, but men would not want to be swayed. Our inquiry rests there. Now, Rogers, who else is there on the island besides yourself and your wife?" "Nobody, sir. Nobody at all." "You're quite sure about that?" "Not clear as if the person unknown host being an answer, but in my own he's not sane in the accepted sentence of him. He may be dangerous. I repeat, it would be well for us to leave this place soon as possible. I believe that we leave tonight." "I beg your pardon, there is no boat on the island." "No boat at all? How do you communicate with the mainland?" "Fred Narcon, he comes over every morning." "Takes over bread, milk, and post." That's my opinion. Anthony Marsden, we disagree with the majority. "A bit unsporting, what?" "Ought to ferret out the mystery before it goes. The whole thing's like a detective story. Positively thrilling. All my life I had no desire for thrills. All of them." Emily said with the legal lives narrator, "It's all for crime." He picked up his drink and drank with a gulp. Too quickly, perhaps. He choked. Anthony dead. Anthony drank, died. No, no. He choked himself. There was 9. They remained stupidly staring at the crumbled figure on the floor. "Oh my god, he's dead." They didn't take it not at once. "Dead? That Norse god in the prime of self and struck down all in one? Healthy man meant to die like this." Choking over whiskey and soda. No, they couldn't take it in. Dr. Armstrong was peering the dead man's face, blue twisted lips. He said, "Dead? You mean just fell, choked, and died?" "You can call him choke if you like. He died of asphyxiation right enough." Sniffing out the dread, he dipped his finger in the carefully touched the finger at the tip of his tongue. "Never knew a man could die like that, just a choking fit. In midst of life we are in death. No, a man doesn't die from a mere choking fit." "Natural death. Was something in the whiskey?" "Yes, can't say exactly. Everything points to one of the cyanides. No distinctive smell of prussic acid. Potassium cyanide. That's pretty well instantaneously. It was in his glass." The doctor strode to the table where the drinks were. He moved the stopper from the whiskey and smelled and tasted. And then he shook his head. "They're both all right. You mean he must have put the stuff in his glass himself?" "Seems like it. Suicide, eh? That's a queer way to go. I never think he'd kill himself. He was so alive. He was oh so enjoying himself. When he came down to the hill, his car this evening, he looked, oh, I can't explain. But they know what he meant. Marsden, in the height of his youth and manhood, what seemed a being who was immortal, and now crumbled, broken, lay in limbo. Is there any possibility other than suicide? Slowly, everyone shook his head. There could be no explanation. The drinks itself were untampered. They all seen Anthony march and go across and help himself. Cyanide in the drink must have been put by himself. You know, doctor, it doesn't seem right to me. It wasn't really suicidal. I agree. Not a suicide. They all left it like that. Who else was there to say? Together, Armstrong carried the body to his bedroom, laid in there, covered over a sheet. When they came downstairs, the others standing grew shivering a little, though the night was not cold. We better go off to bed. It's late. It was past 12. The suggestion was a wise one, yet everyone hesitated. It was as though they were clumsy each other for company for sure. Yes, we must get some sleep. I haven't cleared yet in the dining room. Do in the morning. Is your wife alright? I'll go see her. Sleeping beautiful. Don't disturb her. No, sir. I'll just put things straight in the dining room, make sure everything's locked up right. And I'll turn it in. He went across the room in the dining room, went upstairs, a slow unwilling procession. Where am I reading this? If this had been an old house, a creaking wood, a dark shadows, heavy panel, there would have been an eerie feeling. This house was the essence of modernity. No dark corners, no panel, flooded with light. Everything was new, bright, shiny. Nothing hidden in this room, nothing concealed. It had no atmosphere. Somehow that was the most frightening thing. They exchanged good nights with the upper landing. Each of them went to his own room. Each automatically, without conscious thought, locked the door. Modern house, bright. Locked doors. Scared. Miss Pleasant softly to the room. Wargrave removed his garments, prepared himself for bed. Think about Edward Seton. He remembered Seton very well. Wargrave's Edward Seton. His fair blue eyes looking straight and pleasant. This was made a good impression on the jury, for the crowd had bangled a bit. He was over vehement, had tried to prove too much. Matthews, on the other hand, for a defense had been good. His points had been tough, his cross-defense deadly. His handling of his client and the witness bar had been immaculate, and said had come through the ordeal of cross-examination out. He had not got excited for over vehement. The jury had not been impressed. It had seemed to Matthews perhaps as though everything has been over the bar shot. The judge wound up his swatch very carefully and placed on his bed. Remember exactly how he felt sitting there, listening, making notes, appreciating everything, tabulating every scrap of evidence told against him. He enjoyed that case. Matthews' final speech he had from first class. But me after I failed to remove the good impression that the defending counsel had made. Then comes still summing up. Wargrave removed his false teeth and dropped in a glass of water. The shrunken lips fell, and it was a cruel mouth now, cruel and predatory, putting his eyes to just mouth to himself. He could say things good, alright. It was slightly renewed, drugged, and climbed onto bed and looked at the electric light. Downstairs, Rogers to the press. He was there at the china figure in the center of the table. Let's a rum go. I could have sworn these were terrifying. MacArthur tossed from touch to side to side. Sleep would not come to him. In the darkness, he kept seeing Arthur Richmond's face. Damned fond of Arthur. Had been pleased that Leslie liked him too. Leslie was so capricious, lots of good fellow. Dull, but they thought Arthur Richmond thought they were well together for the good. Teased him, made fun of him, ranked him, and quite motherly interest in the boy. Motherly and damn fool not to remember that Richmond was 28 to Leslie 29. He loved Leslie. He could see her now. Her arch-shaped face, her dancing grayness, and the brown. He loved Leslie. If he again loved her, out in France, in the middle of the hell, he had instigated to take a picture of the breast collar of his face. Then he found out. Income exactly the way to the letter in the wrong envelope. She had been writing to them both, and she put her letter in Richmond in the envelope addressed to her husband. Even now, he could feel the shock of the pain. It hurt. My business had been going some time. The letter made clear. Weekends, Richmond's Leslie, and Arthur. Goddamn the fell. Yes, sir. Liar, hypocrite, stealer of another one, and had gathered slowly. That cold, murderous rage. He managed to carry on as usual to show nothing. He tried to make his manner to Richmond just the same. Had he succeeded? He thought so. Richmond hadn't suspected inequalities touched her. A cheater. Wife. There were nurse. Only young armored chaps looked at him curiously once or twice. Quite a young chap, but he had perceptions of what armored chaps perhaps to get by the time he came. He sent Richard deliberately to death. Only a miracle could have brought him through unhurt. A miracle didn't happen. Yes, he sent Richmond to death, and he wasn't sorry. It had been easy enough. Mistakes being made all the time. Office weakness. All confusion, panic. People might say afterwards, "Oh man, Arthur lost has never been. Made some colossal blunder. Sacrificed some of his best men. They couldn't see more." The young armitage was different. He looked at his commanding officer. He knew that Richmond was deliberately being sent to death, and after the war, Leslie had to know. Leslie had to weep for her lover. But her weeping was over by the time he come back to England. He never told her he found her out. They'd gone together. Only somehow she had to see very real. And 3 years later, she got pneumonia and died. Pneumonia, dead. That was a long time ago. 15 years, 16 years? They left the army and come to live in Devon. Well, a little place he was. Nice neighbors, pleasant part of the world. There was a little bit of shooting and fishing. He gone to church Sundays, but not the day the lesser day for putting in Europe. Somehow he couldn't face that. It gave him an uncomfortable feeling. Everybody had been friendly. At first they were with. Later he had an uneasy feeling that people were talking about him behind his back. His first chance he avoided people like that, withdrawn to himself, unpleasant to feel that people were discussing so purposeless now, and then fade into distance, and sure, none of what happened seemed to matter. So purposeless. Life lonely. He'd taken to shunning old army friends. And now his evening, a hidden voice that blurred out the old hidden story. Had he dealt with it all right? Kept a stiff upper lip, betrayed the right amount of feeling, indignation, disgust, no guilt, no discomfiture? Difficult to tell. Surely nobody would take the accusation seriously. They'd been packed with other nonsense. Just that far-fetched. The charming girl with the voice had accused her of drowning a child. Idiot. Some man meant throwing crazy catching. Emily Brown, too, actually a niece of old Tom Brown of Richmond, accused her of murder. Anyone would have denied that the woman was pious as could be, the kind that was hand and glove in Parsons. Damned curious business, the whole thing. Crazy, nothing less. Ever since they got here, one was that. Why, damn it, it was only afternoon. It seemed a good bit longer now. I wonder when we shall get away again. Tomorrow, of course, when the motorbird came from the mainland. Funny, just as May he didn't want to get away from the island. To go back to the mainland, back to his little house, back to all the troubles of work. Through the open window he could hear the waves breaking the rocks, a little louder and louder. Peaceful sound, peaceful place. Best of an island is once you get there, you can't go any further. You come to the end of things. He knew suddenly that he didn't want to leave the island. Oh? Vera Claythorne lay with bed wide awake, staring up at the ceiling. Vera lay in bed thinking twice. She was frightened at the dark. Hugo, why do I feel you're so close to me? We had to think of him, to remember. Cornwall, the black rocks, the smooth yellow sand. Sitting around whining a little. I want to swim out of the Miss Cave. Why can't I swim? I want to swim. Waking up, Hugo's watching her. The evening started. Come out for a stroll, Miss Claythorne. I think perhaps I will. The deck was strolled across the beach, the Atlantic lit. Hugo's arms around her. I love you, I love you. You know I love you, Vera. Yes, she knew. I can't ask you to marry me. It's not got a penny. It's all I can do to keep myself queer, you know. For almost 3 months I had a chance of being a rich man to look forward to. Zero wasn't born till 3 months after Maurice died. If he had been a girl, If the child been a girl, who would have come into everything would have been sweet. I hadn't built on it, of course, but it's a bit of a knock. Oh well, Lux. Seriously, is nice. I'm awfully fond of him. Was fond of him too. Always ready to play games to me. No rancor in Hugo's nature. Zero wasn't really strong. Beauty and child, no stamina. The kind of child perhaps who wouldn't live to grow up. And then Miss Clayford, why can't I swim to the rock? Irritating why it's too far, Zero. But Miss Clayford. Farrah got up. She went to the dressing room and swallowed 3 aspirin. She thought, I wish I could give some proper seed stuff. If I were doing it myself, I'd take an overdose of Veronal, something like that, not cyanide. She stuttered as she remembered Anthony Marston's convulsion. She passed through the mantle. She looked at the frame door. 10 little Indian boys went out to die. One choked his little self and the other one. She thought to herself, it's horrible, just like us this evening. Why did Anthony Marston? Well, she didn't want to die. She could imagine wanting to die. Death was for the other people. Death for others. Chapter 6. Dr. Armstrong was dreaming, sure hard in the operating room, sure the sweat. Difficult to hold the scalpel firmly. How beautifully sharp it was. He used to do a murder with an just like that. Of course he was doing a murder. The wounds looked different. It had been a large, unwielding body. It was a spare, angry body. The face was hidden. Who is it that he had to kill? He couldn't remember. Imagine that. Did you get a sister? Like you see, this was better. A young probationer was pulling up the house. Ellen Brett, of course, whoever he had to kill. How malicious her eyes were. Her lips were moving. What was she saying? In the midst of life and doing her death, she was thumping right now. No, nurse, don't put the English in. Emily Brett kill? She's laughing now. I got to see, I got to give you instead. Where's the ether? I must have brought some with me. What have you done with the ether, sister? Chatuma papa? Take the knife, of course. It's Anthony Marston, pink purple converse, but he's not there. He's laughing. I tell you, he's laughing. Look at the man. Hallucins. But it was dark. It was morning. Sunlight was pouring down. Someone was sleeping. It was Rogers. Rogers with white feet. Doctor, doctor, what is it? It's the wife, doctor. I can't hurt her with the. Oh my God, I can't hurt her with. She doesn't look right to me. Dr. Armstrong was quick and efficient. He wrapped himself in his dressing gown and followed Rogers. He bent over the bed where the woman was lying peacefully on her side. He lifted the cold hand, raised the eyebrow, whistled a few minutes before he straightened himself. Is she asleep? Yes, she thought. His eyes rested thoughtfully on the man before himself, and then they went back to the table. Was it her heart, sir? It was her health, no really. She was a bit rheumatic. Any doctor been attending her recently? Doctor? Not been a doctor for years, neither I. You were in trouble to see doctor from no doctor. I never knew that she sleep well. Now Rogers' eyes evaded it. The man's hand came to keep murder. Wait, who died? She's gone. Your sleep as well. No, she take the things to make you sleep. Take things to make you sleep. Not that I know. Went over to one Russia. Search a number of bottles. Calcium, call, glycosine, cucumber, marijuana, toothpaste, some sort of elements. Pulling out the drawers at the dressing room. There they moved to the chest. There was no sign of sleeping drugs or tablets. She didn't have nothing last night. Instead, what you gave her. When the gong sounded for breakfast at 9 a.m. breakfast. Remember, I've been panned at ceasing the exchanging desultory comments on the political subject. Vera and Philip have been up to the Summit Island. Vera, Philip, and Laura on the Summit Island. No sign of that motorboat yet. I've been watching for it. Devon's a sleepy county. Thinks I usually late. What do you think of the weather? Glancing up, looks alright to me. It's come to blow the dates out. Smiling, ain't breakfast? Well, I could use some. There in the store. You know what beats me? Why that young fellow wanna do him something? I've been worried about it all night. Got any alternative? I want proof more to be with me. All else. Emily Brett came out of the drawing room. Oop, girl. Brent. Is boat coming? Not yet, but when they went to breakfast, a vast dish of eggs bacon on the side. Opens the door. That man looks ill this morning. You must excuse any shortcomings this morning. Oh, what's the matter with the woman? Let's start with our breakfast. The eggs will be cold. Afterwards, there are several matters I want to discuss you all. They took the hint. Plates were filled. Coffee and tea report. The meal began. Discussion of the island was by mutual consent happening. They spoke instead of a desultory fashion of certain events. The plates were killed. I thought it'd be better to wait until you had had your breakfast before telling you a sad piece of news. Mrs. Rogers died in her sleep. Jack, how awful. 2 deaths on this island since we arrived. His eyes narrowed. Very remarkable. What was the cause of death? Impossible to say offhand. There have been obstacles. I certainly couldn't give a certificate. I have no knowledge whatsoever of the woman's state of health. She was a very nervous-looking creature. She had a shock last night, and it must have been from heart failure, I suppose. Her heart certainly failed to beat, but what caused it to fail is the question. One word fell for Eleanor's heart. Conscience! What exactly do you mean by that? You all heard she was accused together with her husband for having deliberately murdered her former employer, an old lady. You think that accusation was true. I saw her last night. She broke down completely and fainted. The shock of having a witness brought home to her was too much for her. She died of fear. It's a possible theory. One cannot adopt it from mere knowledge of state of health. If it were required, call it you prefer an act of God. Mr. Rhodes said, let's carry a bit things too far, Mr. Brand. You regard it as impossible as a sinner to be struck down by a wrath of God. I do not. My dear lady, my experience of ill-doing providence leads the work of convictions and chastisement to its motive. The process is often fraught with difficulties. There is no shortcuts. What did she have to eat and drink outside when she went to bed? Nothing. She didn't take anything. A cup of tea, drink of water. I bet you had a cup of tea. That always does it. Roger Scrooge had nothing, but she might have said so. He said so to Davis and doesn't. So what's your idea? Well, why not? We all heard of that accusation, man. Maybe it's sheer moonshine, just plain lunacy. On the other hand, maybe it's true. Allow the moment for it to be true. Roger and his missus polished off the old lady. Wait, what does that you? They've been feeling quite safe and happy about it. Now, I don't think Mr. Rogers ever stay. Just a woman. That may be anyway. There's no active danger to them all. An unknown lunatic spilled the beans. What happens? The woman crashed. She goes to pieces. No house for her husband hung over her as she was crying. Not all husbandly solitude. Not like he was a cat on hot bricks, scared out of his life to want to marry. There's a position for you. They done a murder and got away with it, but the whole thing should be racked up. What's going to happen? 10 to 1. The woman would give the show away. She hasn't got the nerve to stand up and brazen out. She's living a danger in life. She's alright. He can't let her rely with the street kingdom, but he can't be sure of her. And if she goes to pieces, his legs is he slips something in the cup of tea and makes sure that her mouth is shut permanently. There's no empty cup by her stepside. There was nothing there at all. I looked. Of course there wouldn't be. First time she did, she was drunk to be take it, that cup with saucer. Really watch it carefully. There was a paw. I doubt it may be so, but I should hardly think it would be possible for a man to do that to his wife. Huh! When a man's neck in danger, he doesn't stop to think too much about sentiment. There was a pause before anyone could speak. The door opened and Rogers came in. He said, looking from one to the other, "Is there anything I can get you? I'm sorry, there was a little toast, but we've run out of bread. The new bread hadn't come over to the main now yet." "What time does Mother Bird usually come over?" "Between 7 and 8, sir. Sometimes it's a bit after 8. Don't know what Fred Norcott can do about this morning. He says he's ill. He'll send his brother." "What's the time now?" 10 minutes to 10, sir." Waited a minute too. Suddenly, "Sorry to hear about your wife, Rogers." Roger thanked his trust. "Yes, sir. Thank you, sir." Again, there was silence. Ooh.
I guess Angela Bassett did the thing. You've got. Angela Bassett did the thing. Angela Bassett did the thing. Angela Bassett did the thing. Angela Bassett. I've got to say, Ariana was correct when she said you did the thing, especially in 2013. Have you chatted with her? I DM'd her last night. I did, and it was beautiful. It was beautiful. It was beautiful. I just wanted to make sure she was okay, and because there's a lot of attention, and she is a-okay. I've got to say, Ariana was correct. All the ladies in the room, supporting and leading, all here I presume. Home top, Dolly D, Carrie and Carrie with the C. Dairy Mama, I'm so fine. Yeah, girl, you were great and blonde. Danielle D, you broke my heart. Michelle, I loved you from the start. Angela Bassett did the thing. Viola Davis, Spider-Man King. Blanche K, you're a G. Angela Bassett did the thing. Viola Davis, Spider-Man King. I think you saw Ariana DeBose's rap.
I did. I'm unclear as to what the fuck people are on about. And for me, it was joyous, celebratory, sisterly, hot, spicy. And she is just so incredibly talented. I don't know what, I really don't know. The only thing I know is that it was shocking to me. It's in a theater. It's not at tables. And so you're in a theater. And so if you're sitting, if you're looking this way and there's the stage and you're watching her on stage, these camera people literally came, they would be like, look that way, they would be here. I think you saw Ariana DeBose's rap, be here. And they're there, you're like, why is this camera person this close to me? And I think a little bit was that there were these camera angles that were really, and none of us knew what she was doing, so when they would cut to us, I was into it. By the time it got to me, I was into the music and I was having a great time. She is a fantastic talent. These people should shut the fuck up, back the fuck off, and let this woman just shine her light, because she is fantastic.
I love Ariana. She's such a lovely woman.
She is fantastic.
Shut your mouth. Fuck you. What the hell? What the fuck? What the shit? You are ugly. You stink.
Be here. She is a fantastic talent. These people should shut the fuck up.
All the ladies in the room, supporting and leading, all here I presume. Home top, Dolly D, Carrie and Carrie with the C. Dairy Mama, I'm so fine. Yeah, girl, you were great and blonde. Danielle D, you broke my heart. Michelle, I loved you from the start. Angela Bassett did the thing. Viola Davis, Spider-Man King. Blanche K, you're a genius. And Jamie Lee, you are all of us. All the ladies.
Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the girls are not doing their thing, but they're not doing it. Don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that the girls are not doing their thing.
You just lost yourself a customer. You just lost yourself a customer.
Utterly quitting my product addiction and taking back control over my life. This is what has been in my lungs for 23 years. I bought these burst bars to help me quit. They contain zero net and only healthy vitamins.
Say that again?
All intensive purposes. Wow.
You know that's not the term, right? You've been saying it wrong your whole entire life.
All intensive purposes?
No, that's not it.
Are you kidding?
Say that again?
About this mortar boat. I know what you're thinking. Page 93. Mr. Lombard. Asked myself the same question. Mortar boat ought to have been here 2 hours ago. It hasn't come. Why? I found the answer. It's not an accident. That's what I said. Part of a puzzle. It's well bound up together. It won't come, you think. A testy, impatient boy. The motorboat's not coming, he said. Bloor turned his square shoulders slightly and viewed the last speaker thoughtfully. You think not too, General? Of course it won't come. We're counting on the motorboat to take us off the island. That's the meaning of the whole business. We're not going to leave the island. None of us will ever leave. It's the end, you see, the end of everything. He hesitated. Then he said with a low, strange voice, that's peace. Real peace. To come to the end. Not to have to go on. Yes, peace. He walked abruptly and walked away. Alongside the terrace had been sloped towards the sea obliquely. At the end of the island where loose rocks went to the water. He walked a little unsteadily, like a man who was only half awake. Bloor said, there goes the Noah who's bombing. Looks like it's the end of the whole lot going that way. Philip Lombard stood up. I don't bet you, Bloor. Ha! It would take a lot to send me off my head, and I don't think you'll be going that way either. I feel quite the same at the minute, thank you. Dr. Armstrong came out of the terrace. He stood there hesitantly. To his left were Bloor and Lombard. To his right were O'Brien. Armstrong turned towards the land. But at that moment, Rogers came quickly out of the... Could I have a word, you sir, please? His hands shook. It was a contrast of restraint of a few minutes that Armstrong was soon taken back. Please, sir, if I can have a word you inside, sir. The doctor turned back, re-entered the house of frenzy by and said, what's the matter, man? Put yourself together. In here, sir. Come in here. Open the dining room door. The doctor passed in. The followers shut the door. Well, what is it? The muscles of Roger's throat were working. He was swallowing. There's things going on, sir, that I don't understand. Things? What things? You think I'm crazy, sir. You say it isn't anything, but it's got to be explained, sir. It's got to be explained because it doesn't make sense. Well, man, tell me what it is. I'm talking. It's those little figures, sir, in the middle of the table. The little china figures. 10 of them. There were. I swear there was 10 of them. Yes, 10. We counted them last year. Rogers came near. That's just it, sir. Last night when I was clearing up, it wasn't but night. I noticed it and thought it queer, and that's not what I thought. Now, sir, this one. I didn't notice it. I laid it on breakfast. But now, sir, I came to clear away. See for yourself. You don't believe me. There's only 8, sir. Only 8. It doesn't make sense. Only 8. Ooh. Roger's speak. Ooh, girl. After breakfast, Emily Brent suggested very carefully she walked to the cement and watched the boat. River had a cushion. There weren't wind and fresh, and small white crest were appearing in the sea. There was no fishing boats and no sign of the mortar. The actual village of the sick lady could not be seen, only the hill. Emily Brent said, the man who brought us yesterday seemed like a very deplorable motion. It was very odd that he did so late in the morning. Did not answer. She was fighting down a rising feeling of panic. Said to her, we must cool. This is like you are excellent nurse. Vera panic. I wish I could come. I want to go. No doubt with you. The elderly woman researched it. I'm very annoyed with myself for being so easily taken. Rather, that letter is absorbed when one comes to examine it. But I had no doubts at the time, none at all. I suppose not. One thing may be taking too granted. You really think was to sip breakfast for the more precisely, or what particularly referred to? You think that Rogers' wife did away with that old lady? Personally, I'm quite sure. What do you think? I don't know what to think. It really goes to support the idea. The way the woman faded, the man dropped the coffee tray, remember? And the way he spoke about it didn't ring true. I'm afraid they did it. The way she looked scared of her own shadow. Must have not seen a woman look so frightened. I remember a text that hung in the nursery as a child. Be sure that sin will find a day out. It's very soon. Let's see. Maybe remember in this case. What the others? What about the others? I don't quite understand. All the accusations, they were true. Maybe true about Rogers. She was stopped, unable to make her chaotic through clear. Ah, I understand. There had been that Mr. Lombard. He admits to having abandoned 20 men to their deaths. They were only natives. Abandoned 20 men. Black or white, they were brothers. Our brothers, our brothers. Oh, I'm going to laugh. I'm hysterical. I'm not myself. Emily Brett continues thoughtfully. Of course, some of the accusations were very far-fetched and ridiculous. Against the judge, for instance, they was only doing his duty in the Oath capacity as ex-Scotland Yard man. My own case, too. Naturally, considering his circumstances, I'm not going to say anything, but it was not a fine subject this before the judge. No, Beatrice Taylor was in service to me. Not a nice girl, as I found out too late. I was very much deceived in her. She had nice manners and was very plain and willing. I was very pleased with her. Of course, talks Beatrice. Of course, it was all the sheerest hypocrisy. She was a loose girl with no morals. Disgusting. It was some time before I found out she was what they call in trouble. She paused, her delicate nose wrinkling. It was a great shock to me. Her parents were decent folk too, who had brought her up very strictly. I'm bad to say they did not condone her behavior. What happened? Naturally, I did not keep her an hour under my roof. No one shall ever say that I'm condemned immorally. What happened to her? The abandoned creature, not content with having one sin be very conscious, committed a still graver sin. She took her own life. Claims immorally hypocritical girl takes own life. She killed herself. Yes, she threw herself in the river. What did you feel like when you knew she'd done that? Weren't you sorry? Did you blame yourself? I had nothing to do with the problem, but if it's my hardness drove to her. Her own action, her own sin, that was what drove her to it. She had behaved like a decent, modest young man. None of this would have happened. She turned faint. There was no self-reproach, no reason. They were hard and self-righteous. Self-righteous. Impolite girl. Was not a modest girl. They were hard to self-righteous. The other spiritual now suddenly she felt terrible. Dr. Armstrong came out of the dining room and was once more out of the terrace. The judge was sitting in a chair now, gazing placidly out to the sea. Lombard and Blow were over to the left, smoking but not talking. Ah, yes, the doctor said it was his eyes were speculative about Josh's workplace. I wanted to consult with someone. He was conscious of the judge's acute logical brain, but nevertheless he raged. Mr. Judge, the worker might have got a good brain, but he was the elderly man. Under his congestion, Armstrong felt what needed was a man of action. He looked it up. Can I speak to you, my boy? The started. Of course, the two men left the terrace. They strolled down when they were out. I wanted a consultation. Omar reflected a minute, then he said, "It's rather suggestive, isn't it? What are your ideas on the subject of the moment? Do you accept Lord's theory? Perfectly feasible. Take it alone." Armstrong's tone sounded relieved. For a moment was docile, the leather went on. That is, accepting the premise that Mr. and Mrs. Rogers got away with murder in their time and don't see why they should. What do you think they did exactly? Poison the young lady? It might be simpler than that. I asked Rogers this morning what his young Brady has suffered from. His answer was enlightening. I don't need to go into medical details. A certain form of cardiac trouble, immunonitrate is used. And an attack comes in an amplitude of immunonitrate broken heal. If immunonitrate were withheld, the concentration might be easily fatal. Philip Lombard said thoughtfully, as simple as that is, might be rather tempting. Yes, no positive. No arsenic to fetch. Both felt confident no one could ever, and even no one knew no one could ever be proof against them. He frowned suddenly. Of course that explains a good deal. I beg your pardon. It explains any island. There are crimes that cannot be brought. Alright, I need to take a break from this shit. 105. Spark notes. Isaac Morris. Who's Isaac Morris? Huh. They discussed the possibility that Rogers killed his wife. Remember, Roger Papa did kill the old woman. Now Hyatt turned to search for him. Flora Lombard and Armstrong became argumentative. Flora suggested Armstrong gave him an overdose of sleeping medication he by accident. Lombard told Bro not to be offensive. Flora demanded to know why Lombard killed his cut. Lombard's speech largely due a job by Isaac Morris and claimed might find trouble of some sort or other. The bell rings and last lunch. Everyone the troops in the midday. Except for MacArthur, whom Armstrong is going to fetch. Roger shares a major lunch of cold ham and tongue along with a few other items. And here's the doctor returning at her. He bursts into dagger. Very amazed to realize that Arthur is dead. Confirms the fear, saying that Arthur is killed by a blow to the head. Regulation left for a cold ham, anxious to fit. People make small talk about it, approach the store and hear the doctor return. He bursts into the room and bears MacArthur is dead. Armstrong confirms this fear, stating that MacArthur was killed to the blow of the head. Glory to MacArthur's body. Should I join? Okay.
Unfortunate. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Hi.
Hi.
Yeah, I thought you were done, Julia.
No.
But you don't even remember, right?
No,
Say
I
you
don't.
remember.
I mean, I
Good.
do remember the name, but I don't remember all of it.
Okay.
Hello.
Sam.
Hello.
Sam, did you read?
Yes.
Okay.
How
Wow.
much?
Checking.
How much did you read?
9 chapters as
Okay,
requested.
good.
Be assigned reading.
Wow.
Why does that garner a wow? Huh?
Because everybody else read through the entire thing.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, sorry. So
Oh, okay.
like cryptically muttering to each
I
other.
was considering going further, but I was like, no,
Yeah,
we're gonna have a nice
yeah.
discussion that
Yeah.
that doesn't involve spoilers.
Okay. Well then. Wait, who didn't read the whole thing?
I did not.
I did not.
Who do you think it was? I've already asked Sam this, but who do you guys think it was?
Maybe it's Mr. Rogers.
Maybe.
Other
guy, right?
Hmm?
Mr. Rogers is the butler?
Yeah.
Is that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's Mr. Rogers and Mrs. Rogers, right?
Well,
Like they're the married couple.
Yeah.
Yeah,
for
yeah.
all of
Well,
like
it
2
was.
chapters.
Rip Mrs. Rogers.
Rip. Yeah. Why do you think it was Mr. Rogers?
I don't know, cause his wife died, so it's like he's least suspected.
Right, the wife was the first victim, right?
The second.
Second.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's
yeah.
Marston that dies first.
Yes, Marston.
He's poisoned.
Oh, right. Man, I always forget that guy. Because he died so early.
We've only got 3 dead so far.
Yeah,
Potentially dead.
Mm-hmm.
potentially
Probably
dead.
dead.
Probably
Potentially.
Well, they haven't found what was it? Armstrong?
General?
Yeah, General McCarthy. That's it.
Oh, so they didn't find his body yet? Okay.
What do you mean yet?
Wait. I mean, just, you know, like in the way about like you assume he's dead, but you haven't found the body. I mean, like, given the title of the book, everyone dies eventually.
I know. Okay, I mean, it was kind of like a.
But do you know that? Do you know that? And then there were none. What if there's that one person who survives? And then there
We
were
don't know
none.
that yet. We don't know.
Yeah,
No
exactly.
clue.
Like, obviously you think everyone's gonna die, but maybe there's that one person who like figures out the killer at the last moment, and then there were none. Yeah, I mean, and then
Yeah, and that there were no murderers. Easy.
What do you think, Julia?
I don't know. I mean, okay, wait. There was like the one thing I was thinking that was kind of that was kind of interesting is that like as soon as they listened to that like announcement of like, oh, you're criminals or whatever, then they're like, this guy must be a homicidal person. Like that's such a big conclusion to jump to. I forget who says that.
True.
It's before anybody has died either. So
Crunchy.
Yeah, crunchy.
Yeah, I have chips.
True. So if it's
What about the rest of
it
us?
should be true for everyone else.
what? Calvin, I can't hear you.
Assume everyone else must also be killers in some way.
Oh, maybe
Takes one to know one.
it was the judge, Wargrave.
Wargrave.
Huh?
Wargrave is the one that says that UN Owen must be some sort of homicidal maniac.
Oh.
Immediately, even though nobody has died yet.
UN Owen was her?
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other thoughts? Or I have discussion questions. Oh gosh, Kevin actually came up with some, so I'm glad. I stole some from the internet, but we do have discussion questions. Any other thoughts?
I'm not allowed to have thoughts.
Yeah.
Many of you aren't.
What do we think about Brian's proposition that it was the house?
Oh.
The house is alive and killing people.
Oh.
I like it.
Ooh, spooky. I do like that.
It's a very different book.
Yeah.
Very different genre, perhaps.
Mm-hmm.
It was God all along.
Oh my gosh.
Hello again.
Hello. Who took the China figures?
Obviously, the killer, right?
Yeah, the murder.
Just for fun? It's like, oh, someone died, just take one and hide it somewhere or something.
Who's the killer?
I think like 4 people are sworn to silence at the moment, but
Calvin, how much did you read?
I read up to section 1.
Good job.
Wow, good job.
Nice, you followed the instructions.
Wow.
Who do you think?
People really reach the end. This is exactly what happened last time. It killed the conversation.
Look, I read this book in high school.
Yeah.
Oh.
The rest of you, however.
I'm sorry.
This is gonna be round 2 of me making wild theories and ending up like,
give us your wild
10%
theories,
sure.
Calvin.
Yeah.
What has everyone talked about so far?
Not much.
Nothing.
I've just been asking people who they think it was.
Who done it?
I think the only suggestion so far has been Mr. Rogers.
Okay. So the butler did it.
Yeah.
The butler always does it.
That's so true.
It's always the butler or the
wife.
The wife. Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like so.
Or isn't it
regarding
like
the whole trope?
it's always the doctor? I don't know.
So that or the doctor. The detective is never the killer because that's like the protagonist of the story.
Yeah.
There is no detective.
There is a detective.
Is there? More.
Wait, no, there's not. Is there? What?
What?
He's the investigator guy.
Oh, wait. Okay.
Lore.
Wait. Oh.
Oh, okay. Yeah, for a moment, I was wondering if he hadn't been revealed yet.
Sorry.
Anyway, there's too many characters to remember, so I'm glad they're dying pretty quickly.
What?
So true.
But
I mean, you still have to remember who they are after they've died.
yeah.
No, you don't.
Their names.
You just
get
didn't
brought
remember
up
Marston.
so frequently.
Yeah.
Well, okay, he doesn't get talked about a lot.
Huh?
The first guy?
Yeah.
I think that, or I have a feeling that the killer is either the guy who died first or the doctor.
Why?
I like
Guy who died first.
Yeah, so
Why
the
did
guy
he-
who died first.
Explain.
I don't remember anything to do with where his body went after he died.
They
If
just
there
put
was a
him in-
note about
In the
where his body went.
They put him in a
bedroom,
bedroom.
right? And then some characters visited the bedroom later on.
Okay. Anyway, my reasoning for that was I don't think the doctor guy is supposed to be a very good doctor. So
No.
it could easily have been like a misdiagnosis of him being dead.
Well, I mean, but why is he not a good doctor? I
Interesting.
feel like it wasn't like the
So in
murder
the
thing that he was
beginning-
accused of because he was drunk.
No, like in the beginning, during the character discussion, the doctor was saying that a lot of what he did was checking up on these women that he diagnosed with just bored. So it's possible he's just out of practice, or he hasn't really seen many real cases other than the woman that he killed.
Oh.
He also immediately declared dead just a few seconds in, so that seems a bit quick to make a diagnosis. An accurate one, at least.
Taste test the poison drink. So I mean, I guess there is some effect. But in that, I was also thinking of that old riddle of like the poison drink and then the poison ends up in the ice. And the doctor explicitly did not check the ice, he only checked the whiskey and the soda water. So I don't think that really points to him being the killer. It's just like maybe the poison was in the ice and nobody checked that. It's possible he's just incompetent.
We also still haven't figured out how the poison got there to the in the first place. So.
Well, that leads me to the young guy who was driving a big car and died first. He's supposed to be super rich, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
is he?
He has, yeah. Or at least
I just don't remember him at all.
His car is super nice.
Is this a spoiler? That you don't remember him?
No.
You're not remembering him being a spoiler?
No.
Okay.
His car is really, really nice.
Yeah, and then during the character analysis by one of the other guys that was invited, said like, none of the invitees look like they belong. Because I expected all these like rich, fancy folk. None of them fit the picture except for this one young guy who's born into money. So he would have the funds available to buy Soldier Island, or at least rent it out, and get all these people in. So I have no idea what the motive is. But it's just, he has the means necessary to set everything up. And he has an alibi, as in he died first.
That makes sense.
Also, he was going to die first because he fits the trope of the like bro character in the horror movies that always dies first.
But when did that trope get established?
I don't know when this book maybe this book started the trope.
How this book influenced the horror genre? What can we judge?
Maybe the horror genre took interest in this book because murder mystery.
Wow.
Definitely.
Mystery,
That's
murder,
it.
either.
Right on the head.
In general, I think it is mentioned that like this this book and then Agatha Christie's works are kind of like the start of the murder mystery genre, and then also like influencing like slasher fiction, I think.
I'll take that as indisputable evidence. Therefore, I am correct.
Honestly, I think Calvin, you're onto something here.
Am I on something like last time?
Should write a thesis paper.
I don't know. I haven't read more.
Oh boy! Wow, who do you think killed everybody, or do you even think the killer is among them?
Among them.
I don't know. I feel like because there has to be a clever denouement at the end.
Yeah.
It has to be like not one of the remaining people. Something clever, something sneaky. Could be one of the quote dead unquote people.
If it's some other third party not mentioned in the book, that's boring.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to be someone not mentioned. It could be someone that was mentioned and that we've discounted.
I mean, it could have been somebody like in the past, or it could be the guy that drives the boat or whatever.
Boat driver.
I don't know. I mean, because like if you're listening to like a voice,
The boat guy's suspicious.
The gramophone, and they don't recognize the voice, then who the heck recorded that?
Yeah, but I just think it's going to be boring overall if it's going through the whole book where there's only like the hint of a side character being the perpetrator.
Mm.
It'd be so much more exciting if it actually was a whodunit and everyone's.
Which leads me to believe that it isn't just like a side character mentioned once.
Yeah.
It's probably someone who has a slightly larger role in the story at present.
Mm.
Will probably become clearer later on, and I'm not later on yet. Also, this guy didn't get split in half.
What?
The guy who died in chapter 9 didn't get split in half.
Did what?
We weren't there yet, Calvin.
This is chapter 9. It says up to the end of chapter 9, right?
Alright. Well, yeah, after chapter 9 it says...
Yeah, we're still on... That was... Death number 3 is going to Devin.
Okay, hold on.
According to the nursery rhyme.
Oh, okay. They're assuming that General MacArthur is dead, and that's like the last that they have.
We got him in the head.
What?
Another person reading ahead.
Did you read ahead, Calvin?
No, I read up to chapter 9.
Okay.
Yes,
well, maybe
chapter
the
9,
version...
MacArthur.
Maybe the version is different.
The chapters should be the same, though.
How many people are dead, Calvin?
Guy who died first, and the lady. There should be 7 people left, so yeah, it's 3.
Yeah, so only 3. The first was, what did the nursery rhyme say? What did the nursery rhyme explain?
Went out to dine, one choked his little self, and then there were 9.
Yeah, choking.
Have the thing pulled up. So yeah, choked on the poison or whatever.
Next was sleeping in, which
didn't wake up in the morning.
And next was going to Devon.
Okay.
Calvin.
I might have just skipped to 7 instead of reading 8. Anyways, I still don't make. Okay, to be fair, he didn't chop himself in half, so I'm correct on that point.
What?
I don't actually understand how
he lives in Devon.
Wait, what page is this?
Okay,
not Calvin.
Oh, mine is at the start of the novel, and it's also mentioned in a chapter.
I know I read this, but I can't remember. Oh, here it is. 34. Page 34 for me. Okay.
Okay, I'm looking forward to someone getting chopped in half.
Wait, it says that he goes to Devon in the
In the nursery rhyme?
Yeah, the nursery rhyme says.
Oh, there we go. Okay, got it.
One said he stayed there, and then there were 7.
Okay.
I don't get that part.
Definitely a British thing.
Staying in Devon. I mean, I guess it rhymes with heaven too. Not that the general would necessarily go there, but you get the idea.
I mean, it could be that he's just lost and then his body just stays there.
I mean, technically, they're all in Devon because they're off the coast of Devon, and you would assume that the province, county would include that, but we're getting muddled by the details here.
What does MacArthur say? Because I know he talks about something like.
Isn't he the one
or he disappears.
That they're all gonna die there?
Yeah.
He's resigned.
He's resigned to staying there.
I think that makes sense. He's just given up.
Yeah.
Who's your favorite character? I like the doctor. I like the guy with the car too, but then he died, and now he's not in the story anymore.
Wait.
Hmm?
Hmm?
I like the doctor, and I like the guy with the car, but the guy with the car died, so he's not getting any more development.
Why do you like the guy with the car? He ran over 2 kids.
Yeah.
He just seemed like the prime candidate to die first in the horror movie, and I wanted to see how it went because he's also the most confident, ignorant person out of the bunch, and it seems like he would blunder his way through the rest of the story
I
and
see.
make things interesting.
Yeah.
On the other hand, we have the people who are actually trying to solve the mystery and also being involved in it, which is the doctor. He's been there for every single death.
Wait.
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, I guess so, if verifying that.
Was he the one?
Wait, was MacArthur fan?
Not yet.
MacArthur was MacArthur?
No.
The guy who the ape
disappears. And they're like, he's probably dead.
I thought it was confirmed by the doctor guy. Or the doctor guy found him on the beach.
Oh, hold on. Maybe you're right.
Also, bringing it back to the very start of the book, that would be a very good single shot that just sweeps through each of the people in some sort of movie. One
You're right,
long
you're right.
continuous take, it would be amazing.
Alvin, you're
Hey,
right.
We should just watch the movie at this rate then.
After we finish the novel.
Right now.
Have you watched that movie, Joyce?
I'm pretty sure we did watch it in class, yeah.
Is it does it adhere to the book pretty closely?
Yes, I'm pretty sure. Yeah.
Okay.
What? This is a complete tangent, but what I am curious about is why everyone is dying individually and not multiple people at once.
What fun would that be?
Be very short, but
why does this have to be fun?
I mean, if you're a sociopath.
Yeah.
Who's saying the killer's a
prolong
sociopath?
I
mean, it could all just be build up to the very last person. So, after witnessing everyone die and then maybe being linked to being the cause, all of them dying, they then kill themselves to finish the poem. And then the whole reason they kill off the characters one by one is in order to psychologically torment that last person.
I feel like the way that each of the victims are handpicked though, and they clearly are researched and everything like that. I don't know if any of them particularly stands out to be the one big bad that all these other people are just sacrificed to make this one person suffer.
Hello.
Oh, hi Kevin.
Hi everyone, sorry for being late.
Maybe Vera's gonna be the last one.
Who?
Maybe Vera's gonna be the last one. The lady who is the secretary.
I get.
She has a backstory with a drowned kid or something.
Yeah, I got certain vibes from her that set her apart from other characters. Something in the way she's
elaborated on. But then that leads into the whole family member that's not part of the group swoops in and kills everybody. I'm not a fan of that. Even if it's they are cousins twice removed, it still seems like a very flimsy connection to make it a satisfying murder reveal. So Kevin, who do you think did it? Assuming you read only up to chapter 9.
Wait, what? Who do I think did it?
Yeah, and where did you read up to?
I think, what was it? I don't remember the chapter. It was whoever was. What is it? Chapter 6, right? That was like midpoint. No, I fuck up.
How many people died?
Like 4s.
4?
Wait, am I tripping?
That's
Hold on.
not right.
We're currently at 3 people died.
Wait, hold on. Let me pull up the book real quick. Google Drive. Wait, what are we talking about right now?
What were we talking about?
Vera?
Potential murder.
Should we try the discussion questions?
Huh?
Oh, sorry. Keep going.
What were you saying?
After we're done just talking, there's the discussion questions too, right?
Oh, right.
No, but keep going. What was it?
So the doctor guy, in one of the chapters, he says he wishes he had his equipment with him. So either he means he wishes he had his equipment with him at that moment in order to check what killed the old lady, or he didn't bring his equipment at all. Which doesn't make sense, because he's supposed to be on the island to do a medical checkup or something. And this is me hyperfixating on one of the 10 people, so I will be 1/10 correct. Again. Also, I just like the doctor. He's very involved in everyone's cases. And then the judge guy is directing everything. That's nice too.
Are we sure it's not 4?
Yeah.
We're very certain it's not 4 people dead yet.
Oh god.
Did you?
Another person read ahead. Oh my
Which page did you end on? Chapter 9 ends on them having that gathering to decide who could have done it and who is exempt. A lot of old language, and I think there was only one Among Us in the book so far.
What?
Sam, can you confirm that?
Sorry, say that again?
How many Among Us were mentioned in the book so far? I think it was only one.
We've had suspicious. I don't recall Among Us. I can do a quick search.
I can recall distinctly there is an Among Us mentioned by the judge guy in chapter 9.
Why are you fixating on it?
It's not fixating, it's just that I heard it and the neuron was activated.
You are right.
Yes.
To put it simply, is there among us one or more persons who could not possibly, etc.
I've been cursed with pattern recognition. Hey Kevin, did you figure out how many chapters you read? Actually, also, quick question. Who out of the group has finished the book and or read ahead?
I've read the full thing. We should change our nicknames in this server to be able to tell. You're right. Yeah.
How do we do that? Edit server profile. Wow.
On mute.
I won't say anything.
So it's only joyous. Good to hear.
What's the
About that.
Excuse me, Sam.
Not me, but others have should be speaking up now.
Where is
Wait, what?
Uh-oh.
Whoa.
That's 3.
Hmm.
Oh wait, hang on. I'll change it.
Guys, I have a question. What does
That was
walking mushroom hot pot mean?
Sorry, what?
It's the manga that I was reading. The dish that they make in the manga is huge scorpion and walking mushroom hot pot, but that's too long, so I just changed it to walking mushroom hot pot.
I was imagining a hot pot with mushrooms in it that was also walking.
No, the mushrooms have feet. They can walk. That's the walking part.
I thought you were saying you were a walking mushroom hot pot.
No, the emoji indicates that I'm trying to eat the walking mushroom hot pot. Yes.
I thought like you just had mushroom hot pot, and you had so much of it that you were now walking mushroom hot pot.
Yeah,
How hot
you with
does a
chicken.
hot pot need to be for it to be a hot pot?
Hot pot's so good.
Technically, a pot with a lid on it, a closed vessel, just like the
Is this the thing where it's like if you eat like 1% of your body weight in mushroom hot pot, it's 1% mushroom hot pot?
You just round up.
Cool. Is this 3 people who have read to the end?
I think Bethany has
Who's
2.
Mr. Body?
It's
Bethany has as well.
It's from like Clue. The dead body is always Mr. Body.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm dead. I'm leaving.